The Quran, every ayah has its own miracle. Every ayah presents its own miracle. The tragedy of our times is, most people don't even know the message of Quran. And for the people who know the message of Quran, the vast majority of them don't know the miracle of Quran. And the Quran is, again, two things at the same time, right? It's a message and a miracle. Two things at the same time. So this is something that's almost lost, a treasure that's lost from the general knowledge of the Muslim population. And just imagine, if our children even knew 5 ayat, they memorize Surah Al-Ikhlas, they memorize Surah Al-Kawthar, they memorize these surahs. If they knew those 5 ayat and they knew what they meant, and then they knew the miracle in those ayat, wouldn't they have a different kind of iman in those ayat? They would mean something more to them. This is why you see a difference between our iman and the iman of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ajma'in. One of the reasons, among the many reasons, is that when they heard Quran, they heard the message and they also heard miracle. They heard two things at the same time. We, at the most, we hear one thing. At the most, we hear one thing. So this is one reason to definitely be a student of the Arabic language. Because we want to appreciate the Quran and its message, and we also want to taste the beauty of its miracle. I want to give you a simple example just on the side as an argument. Many of you have read poetry. Some of you not because you wanted to, but because it was part of your class, you had to read it. Or you had to read some literature like Shakespeare. Those of you that speak Urdu may have read Iqbal or Ghalib or something, right? You've read poetry and song and artistic literature in different languages. When you translate a poem from one language to another, when you translate Shakespeare from English to Urdu, or you translate Iqbal to English, does it have the same beauty? The word of a human being loses its beauty when translated from one language to another. And I'm not talking about the meaning, I'm just talking about the beauty, because poetry is about beauty, isn't it? What's lost is the beauty. We're talking about the word of Allah. Can there be any doubt in the beauty of those words? And when we translate the word of Allah, do you think there's going to be a loss in beauty? To describe this loss in beauty, As-Suyuti rahimahullah gave a beautiful example. He gave a parable. As-Suyuti rahimahullah was one of the first scholars to write on the sciences of the Qur'an, Al-Itqan fi ulum al-Qur'an. And he says, if someone can imagine the distance between the creator and the creation, imagine how above Allah is from His creation, then you can begin to imagine the distance between the words of the creator and the words of the creation. Quran is the word of the creator. The translation is the word of the creation. Is there a distance? SubhanAllah. How can you say one substitutes for the other? You can't, there's no room to make that argument. So this is the first point. This is just the first point. The miracle of Quran is lost. The second point is, Allah Azza wa Jal in the Quran says the word Quran, He uses the word Quran with the word Arabi. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا غَيْرَ ذِي عِوَجٍ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ أَوْ يُحْدِثُ لَهُمْ ذِكْرًا. Allah Azza wa Jal says, بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ. 11 times in the Quran, Allah describes the Quran as what? Arabic. Every Muslim believes that every word in the Quran is exactly from Allah. You can't add to it, you can't take away from it. If Allah describes the Quran as Al-Quran Al-Hakim, like in Surah Yasin, Wal-Quran Al-Hakim, the Quran full of wisdom. We can never separate wisdom and Quran because Allah put them together. When Allah says Qur'anan Arabiyyan, what two things can we never separate? Quran and Arabi. Did Allah put them together? We can't separate them. And on top of that, He said, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. In simple English, we, without a doubt, we're the ones who sent down an Arabic Quran, so you can understand. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. So if Allah put understanding next to not just Quran, what did Allah put understanding next to? The Arabic Quran. So a key in understanding the Quran is what? The Arabic language.